Hi guys, this is Jenny and Lauren from the Impact Institute. Joining you today in the clinic. We are third year students and we wanted to take this episode to address all first and second year questions, concerns, and oh my gosh, I'm in PT school, what do I do?
That's awesome. Yeah, totally. Hi guys, Lauren Griffin here. And Jenny and I are super excited to be talking to you today about questions and concerns that you guys might have.
So Lauren, what were your first thoughts when you first arrived into PT school those first few months?
Yeah, you know, a lot of my professors, they were really understanding and really nice, but it's just a lot of information no matter what. They can't do anything to help that. So just a lot of information getting shoved down your throat and a lot of stress at first and kind of unsure of what's going on and just trying to get your head wrapped around everything.
But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. And honestly, the first month or two can be very intimidating, but we're going to talk about some kind of things we wish we would have changed about our first maybe year or so you guys maybe don't make the same mistakes we did.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, if someone would have told me some of the stuff that I know now, it would have helped me a little bit more.
So Lauren, what's an example of something you wish you could have done differently?
Yeah, so a couple regrets I have is in the early on stages of school, there was a lot of chat about getting involved with student government and the APTA, and I kind of just told myself I don't have time for that, and I'm going to be too busy studying, and it's going to overwhelm me to take on too many tasks, and I'm better off without those things. And I definitely think that that's not the case, and I wish I would have gotten involved in those things. If you make the time for it early on and set that bar for yourself, that you can actually work that into your schedule if you want to be part of the student government or that you want to be part of a specific section in the APTA and play a role there with the student special interest groups, you really can make it a part of your daily routine if you started off that way and you tell yourself from day one, you know, I can do this.
I love that. Have confidence, and definitely APTA has a lot of benefits that I didn't even know about. So please ask your professors or someone who's more involved in student government. And there's anything from journals to even deals on online shopping. I mean, everything for just being an APTA member. So I think one thing that I regretted when I first started PT school was coming from a college athlete, I was pretty competitive with myself and others. And so I felt like grades were super important. And while grades are really important, I learned throughout my PT school career that I had to learn things for my future patients. And when you get the time to interact with those patients, those are the best learning opportunities. So I think just remembering that you want to foster relationships and critical thinking more than just getting the A. So really focus on how you're thinking, why you're choosing these options rather than just the A, B, C, and D of a multiple choice test.
I totally agree with you, Jenny. It's all about the why behind things. I didn't just study to get good grades. I studied to know it for when I really have to see it in real life and deal with it. And it's so true. You totally see those patients in those case examples you do in class that you think are so pointless, but they really are kind of similar once you get into the clinic, the patients.
Yeah, definitely. So Lauren, what was one of your favorite experiences or a really successful thing that you felt like you did throughout your first 2 years?
Yeah, so that's a great question. That first year kind of that I regretted not being involved in anything, I really wanted to do something my second year for the physical therapy program on campus. So the dental program, I go to AT Still University in Mesa, Arizona. The dental program does a wonderful job of Give Kids a Smile Day, and I always kind of admired them for that and what they do for all those kids on that day every year. And then the audiology program has a Hear Day where they help children with hearing impairments by taking them kind of through like a fair and all these activities out on the lawn. And, all the other programs seem to have a special day. And our school really didn't have, our department, physical therapy, really didn't have anything to represent ourselves on campus. So I really wanted to change that. So a group of friends and I got together and we kind of headed up an event. It's called Move for Mason. And what we did is we provided free yoga to about 45 to 50 students and staff on campus one afternoon. And it was just an amazing event. We called it Move for Mason because Mason was in the DPT program at AT Still in his second year, I believe, a few years ago when he lost his life. So there's a scholarship in his name, so we called it Move for Mason so we could raise money for the scholarship, and the scholarship's awarded to one of the third-year students each year. I'm sorry, second-year students each year. So we raised a bunch of funds by going out to different companies and getting gift certificates, and then we auctioned them off, and all that money went towards the scholarship. And most importantly, I was able to kind of represent the physical therapy department and show them, hey, movement's great, and raise some money and some awareness about kind of mental health and depression. Yeah, so that was something that I was just really proud of, and I hope carries on each year.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks, Jenny. So what about you? What's going on in your first and second year brain at the time? Were you feeling successful?
So I think the way I kind of promoted my most success in organization, this is going to sound kind of nerdy, but I was obsessed with my planner, and more importantly, my roommate's planner. It had all of our test dates, all of our homework dates, even plans for working out. And honestly, it was one of the things that made me most on track and made me most successful. And I think to tag on to what Lauren said, being involved in the community makes your why for why you are stressed, why you're over-caffeinated, and why you're freaking out during tests. Because once you work with those patients or like start an amazing event like that, it just kind of calms you back down and brings you to reality. So we up in Flagstaff at NAU, we have a large community of patients with Parkinson's, who have experienced multiple sclerosis and stroke and a bunch of different other neurological disorders. And we have a boot camp every summer. We have a clinic that's dedicated just for patients with neurological disorders, and that was one of my most favorite experiences. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So moving on, studying, I think we get a ton of questions from first and second year students on how to study, how to be successful with school, because at the end of the day, you do have to graduate. So Lauren, what study strategies or some of your friends' study strategies did they use to help?
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So studying is super different for each individual person, so we have to remember that. But what worked well for me is that I would study in 4 to 5 hour increments, and I would make sure I take a break. I really can't just go for 8 or 9 hours straight through. Although you feel like you need to, it's really important to stop yourself. And I think starting off your day with a hike or some type of exercise, whatever you like to do to clear your mind, or doing that in the middle of the day to break up your studying could be super beneficial too. So incorporating wellness and exercise, good nutrition is super helpful when you're studying and not just reaching for unhealthy, quick, easy, cheap things. I know that we're all on a budget, but if you could fuel your body with healthy ingredients, then I think you can really make your brain go longer. I truly believe in water and all the benefits that it has. So just taking care of yourself, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at while you're pushing yourself so hard with studying.
Right, just not a jar of peanut butter and ramen noodles, unfortunately.
Would
Great
you agree,
ideas.
Jenny?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think I made a huge mistake. My roommates joked that I had probably 9 jars of peanut butter after our first semester because I was so freaked out and snacking all through everything.
Right.
But I think water's super important, and just a few specific things I did that I felt like was helpful for my anatomy class. I would make flashcards or Quizlet, which I love. Quizlet's amazing because you can use your phone, your iPad, your computer, and basically do it anywhere. And I used to go on the treadmill in the mornings and look through my note cards, or if you can even walk to school, I used to walk to school and look through my note cards because I was a student who couldn't go home from school and start studying. That's just not who I was.
Right.
So I think learning how you best study and when you're most productive
I agree,
is probably a good takeaway.
Yeah, like I'm a huge morning person. I can do my best work at 7 a.m., but if you ask me anything after 8 p.m., my brain is completely mush. So recognizing that about yourself.
Right, you have 2 grandmas here. We're definitely early morning people. Okay, so last things. A lot of students ask us about how to make their first internship successful. Where do they look? So Lauren, what were some things you would give advice on now, having been in almost 2 internships?
Yeah, so I would really try to seek out people that you want to learn from. I handpicked, I think, 3 out of my 4 CIs, or 4 out of my 5 CIs, people that I look up to and value in this profession and really want to learn from. So I would encourage you to know who you want to learn from, at least philosophy-wise. A lot of students just will take whatever they can get, but you can really fight for where you want to go and who you want to learn from. So I encourage everyone to try and do that. I mean, I know every program is different, but AT still was really flexible with me choosing where I want to go. So that was great. And I'm not sure if you had a similar experience, but...
Yeah, so our program's kind of a hybrid. We do have a lottery, so some you can choose, others they kind of go based on almost random selection just because there's so many students in our program. But I would say while you're in your internship, having constant communication with your CI and creating goals, especially if you feel like the internship isn't going well or you feel like there's a communication barrier, having written goals for these are what type of diagnosis I want to see, or these are procedures I want to practice, really helps keep everyone on track. And usually CIs are pretty open, even if you're not the best of friends, for you learning if you have a really outlined program.
Yeah, I totally agree. My school gives us a progression that you actually take with you for week 1, week 2, and it kind of gives your CI expectations of where you want to be, and then it helps you check in with yourself to see, are you there? Are you meeting the expectations? Are you really doing 100% of the subjective interview, by week 2? So those are some good guidelines to have, and if your program doesn't have those, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I would love to send you what we have, or feel free to talk to your program too about that, because it's hard to know what's expected of you if it's not outlined.
Yeah. So guys, we had so much fun chatting with you today. If you have any questions for Lauren or I, or for the Impact Institute, please reach out at info@impactptaz.com. We love answering your questions via email and also addressing them in the podcast. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks.
Bye guys. Thanks so much.